Hi, everyone, and welcome to Tutor Time with Miss Allen. Today's lesson is a beginner's lesson in decimals, and it is for fourth graders. And again, this is a Common Core standard, which means that any scholar anywhere in the United States that is in the fourth grade should be introduced to a beginning decimals lesson. So let's jump right in and get started. So, decimals. The first thing that we need to understand about decimals is that decimals are just like fractions. And when I say that decimals are just like fractions, I'm talking about the fact that they both represent parts of a whole. So, they both represent parts of a whole. So, for example, and I'm going to change my marker. So, for example, if I had some money and this is worth $1 or equal to $1. This right here, to my scholars, is your decimal. Your decimal point. And that decimal point indicates that anything to the right of the decimal is less than one whole, and anything to the left of the decimal is greater than one whole, is at least one whole or greater. So I'm going to put this in. Anything to the left, it represents a whole number. And anything to the right is less than one whole. And that's just like our fractions. So, for example, if I had a tape diagram that had 4 parts, and it was all equal to one whole, and let's say I shaded in not one part but 2 parts, that would be equal to 2/4. And another way of saying 2/4 is, that's right, 1/2. And now if I wanted to take that 1/2 and then turn that into a decimal, we need to ask ourselves, what is half of one or $1? It would be 50 cents. And then we could put, don't forget our decimal point, 0.50. So whether you're saying 2/4 or 1/2 or 0.50, it is all equal to half of one whole. And again, any number that is on the right side of the decimal indicates that it is less than one whole or less than $1. And if it is to the left, that represents that it is one whole or greater than one whole. So, scholars, let's do a little test. I'm going to raise our sheet of paper so we can see. And so now I'm going to do a couple more examples. So now I have another tape diagram. So I just did a tape diagram, and like I tell my scholars, the first thing that we need to do when we're writing it as a fraction is to find out how many parts, because that's what the denominator tells you, how many parts that you have to your fraction or to your whole. And let me put this so we are clear that this whole tape diagram is one whole, and now I've just split it into, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces. So our denominator would be 10. And if I was to shade, let's say, 7 of those pieces, the number 7 would become my what? Numerator. That's right, scholars. You guys are so smart. Now, I can take this same tape diagram. I'm going to draw one that's very similar. This also has 10 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I'm going to label it as a decimal. So if I was to label it as a decimal, it would be 0.10, 0.20, 0.30, 0.40. My halfway mark would be 0.50, 0.60, 0.70, 0.80, 0.90, and my number on my end would be 1.00 to indicate that it is one whole. So now I would ask my scholars, please plot on your decimal number line your fraction that we just did above. And that would end up being what? That's right, you guys are so smart. 0.70. And then we will write it as 0.70. And so, scholars, this is a beginning lesson in a decimal, its definition, that decimals are just like fractions. They represent parts of a whole. If we were talking about money, we're all used to seeing decimal points when we write out our money. The number to the left will give you your dollars or your wholes, and then all the numbers to the right of the decimal would give you your change or what you have left over that is less than one whole or $1. We know that half of a dollar is 2/4 or half of one whole when it has 4 parts is 2/4, and that we can rename that as 1/2 or even rename it as a decimal for 0.50. And now we just learned how to shade in a tape diagram with a fraction and then show that same fraction on a decimal number line. And so this would be a beginner's 101 lesson for fractions. And just to add on just a little bit more, we're going to talk about centimeters for a second. If we were going to add centimeters or add decimals. Centimeters are, of course, there's 10 centimeters in, or 0.10 centimeters in one whole centimeter. And so if I wanted to add centimeters, I would maybe say 0.80 plus 0.20 would then equal 1.00. So this could be 80 cent or 0.80 centimeters plus 20 cent or 0.20 centimeters would then equal either one whole dollar or 1 whole centimeter. So scholars, I just taught you how to add decimals going from horizontally from left to right, and I'm going to show you vertically. The trick to adding decimals vertically is to make sure that your decimals always line up. So if I had 0.70 plus 0.10, 0 plus 0 is 0, and 7 plus 1 is 8, and then don't forget your decimal point. So 0.70 plus 0.10 is equal to 0.80. So that's your beginning lesson for fourth graders with decimals. Please subscribe and hit the like button. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section and I'll answer your question and respond. So continue to have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye.